Have you ever felt so deeply connected to someone that you forgot who you were before you met them? Maybe you wait all day just to get a message. You change your plans for them, or you feel anxious when they don't reply right away. Love can be beautiful, but it can also become a trap when we get too attached. Today, we're going to talk about how to avoid excessive attachment in love without giving up real intimacy. Yes, it's possible to love deeply and still stay grounded in yourself. Excessive attachment isn't love, even though it often disguises itself that way. It's that constant need to be around the other person, to define your happiness, your value, your identity through them. It's as if your world fades when they're not there. But what about your world? What about your voice, your dreams, your space? First of all, take a deep breath. This is not a judgment, it's human. We've all been there. We've all held on too tight at some point because we're afraid of being alone, afraid of not being enough, afraid of being left. And often we were taught that love hurts, that love demands sacrifice, that it's only real when it's dramatic or complicated. But that's not true. Real love doesn't break you. It doesn't take you away from yourself. Here's the hard truth. Excessive attachment often comes from an inner emptiness. We try to find in someone else what we're missing inside ourselves. So the first step is to look inward. Ask yourself, what am I trying to fill through this relationship? Do I really want to love, or do I just not want to be alone? No one can complete you, because you are already whole. Maybe you've forgotten that. Maybe you've been covering it up with expectations, with longing, with fantasy. But love is not a lifeboat. Love is a meeting between two whole people, not two halves trying to survive. Picture a tree, strong with deep roots. A healthy love is like another tree growing nearby, both standing tall on their own, but their branches touching, sharing light and shade. Excessive attachment, that's when the roots get so tangled that you no longer know where you end and the other begins. And if one tree falls, the other comes crashing down with it. So how do you find balance again? By nurturing your own life. That might sound simple, but it's incredibly powerful. Spend time on your passions, your hobbies, your friendships. Enjoy your own company. The more full your life feels, the less likely you are to cling to someone else's, and the less afraid you'll be that distance means disinterest. And one of the most important things, boundaries. Even in love, especially in love, boundaries aren't walls. They're bridges. They allow closeness without losing yourself. When you say, I need time for myself, or this is my space, it doesn't mean you love less. It means you love yourself enough to stay present and authentic. And that's exactly what creates safe, real connection. Also, watch your thoughts. Excessive attachment feeds on beliefs like, if they leave me, I'm nothing, or if they don't reply right away, they must not love me. These thoughts are fear-based, and they create anxiety, neediness, and insecurity. Next time that fear shows up, pause. Ask yourself, is this really true, or is it just a story I'm telling myself? People who are overly attached often fear loss, even when there's no reason to. And from that fear, they become controlling, demanding, or overly emotional. They send 10 messages. They obsess over every word. They doubt everything. But here's the thing, what you cling to too tightly is often the first thing to slip away. That's why trust is everything. Not just trust in the other person, but trust in yourself. Trust that you'll be okay, no matter what. That your value doesn't depend on someone loving you. That you are enough, right now, just as you are. Now let's be honest. This takes practice. Letting go doesn't mean not caring. It means loving with freedom, allowing the other to breathe, to be themselves, without the constant fear that it means they're slipping away. And yes, you'll mess up. You'll feel that old panic rise when they don't text back. You'll feel that knot in your stomach when they seem distant. But over time, with the right tools, you'll learn to self-soothe, to say, "This is just a feeling. It will pass. I am here. I am safe." One simple but powerful habit: write, journal what you're feeling. Get to know your emotional patterns, or try mindfulness. Just breathe. Sit with your feelings. Let them move through you instead of trying to silence them with someone else's attention. And if it feels too heavy to handle on your own, talk to someone: a coach, a therapist, a trusted friend. Seeking help isn't weakness, it's courage. Because often what's behind excessive attachment is an old wound. Maybe you weren't truly seen growing up. Maybe you learned that love is something you have to earn or chase, but those wounds can heal. You can create a new story, a love where you don't have to beg, where you don't have to shrink, where you can breathe and still be held. So today, take a moment to turn inward, to recognize the part of you that just wants to be loved, and remind that part you already are. When you remember your own wholeness, you can love without fear. You can let go without falling. You can stay or walk away from a place of strength, because no matter what, you always come home to yourself. If this message spoke to you, share it with someone who might need to hear it. Subscribe for more soul-centered content. And above all, remember this: real love doesn't make you smaller. It helps you grow.